your work?
Yes, so we've managed to build a network with the Rotaract community, which is really helping us to reach their club members from across the country. We are using our awareness excursions to different parks in the country, different important bird areas in the country that we, that are attracting members of the public to understand, to know a thing or two about birds, to be aware that birds also need to be conserved, to know their habitat and how they can help in terms of what they can do in their individual capacities to conserve birds. So yeah, and we have also moved to schools, universities and secondary schools where we have built bird clubs. Some of them are really picking up already. As you, for example, here we have a few members from Muni University. I'm seeing them on. And I think one of their members is even doing research on birds, which we found very interesting. In Uganda, we don't have any courses that are specified in terms of ornithology or, you know, teaching birds anything or anything like that.
It's a no national society.
Yes, there's no national society or even any course, any ornithology course in Uganda. Yes, so we only rely on students who have passion for birds, and the only way we can encourage them and expose them to what they need to do to learn more about birds is through building clubs where they can learn from, where they can share ideas from, and even have opportunities to have platforms such as this to interact with other people from whom they can learn things about birds and how to conserve them. Yes, so yeah, that is mostly what we've been concentrating on. And we, maybe what else I can mention is we are building partnerships with some landowners where we can do some restoration projects. Of course, we would love to do restoration, but we don't own any land to do that. So we have, for example, we have now about 3 partnerships with farms with whom we are going to start restoration projects next year. So we are going to do surveys of the birds that are there. We are actually talking to some universities that are going to help us with that. We are going to survey the area, the habitat and the birds that are present, and then we see how we can restore the farmland and help out with conserving the birds on their land.
Do you have anybody who's ringing the birds and catching the birds and putting rings on them, or no?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Yes, we, of course, again, we still have very limited capacity in terms of knowledge, in terms of resources. Yes, but we really hope to build capacity within this next half of the year to be able to at least do meaningful work in terms of restoration.
Well, that's an important step forward. And I mean, how many members do you have now? 50, 60?
No, around 71 now.
Okay, well, it's, you know, our bird society started with 12, and we now have 500.
Oh,
so, you know, little steps from, we always say, from little seeds, big trees grow, and you know, it's important to take your time and be patient with insects. And but that's it. I mean, you're doing a lot already. I mean, just 21 of you. I mean, that's amazing. And, but the other little piece of advice is that once you're, well, you feel established already, I guess. So one of the things you ought perhaps to consider is approaching BirdLife International to become an associate member. Of BirdLife International, because that is also a way of receiving various grants, and it's also a way of, as a society, to have an international mentor who can actually help give you methodology and everything else with your research, and you know what's more important and what's it's wasting time, if you like, in this day and age. So have a think about that, because that could be extremely useful for you as a society.
Truly.
And also, if Godfrey or yourself want to write an article about your association, I can get it published in the magazine, and also give a link to the society, because on your society, do you have a facility to accept payment?
Yes, we do.
And so I don't know, but our society, we use Stripe and a thing called Join It. It's free software, and you can have different in Join It, you can have different memberships
category,
and within those memberships you can also have a donation button. So it's not somebody who maybe not particularly interested in being a member, but because they're overseas or something, but and press on the button, and through Stripe or a payment facility, give a donation. So we found that really useful as a society for ourselves.
Okay.
So you could perhaps have a look at the Andalucian Bird Society.org website to give yourself some ideas about where it says join us. You can have a look at the categories of membership and things like that. It could be useful to you.
Indeed.
And I could help you with that if you need help to understand it more.
Obviously, we need your expertise. I mean, you've been in the sector for such a long time. We would love to get your insight. And thank you for, of course, giving this advice.
No, it's an absolute pleasure, honestly. Anything that spreads the word of birds and how we can help wildlife in general. That's an important thing for me, and it's a passion also. When I've been lecturing on biology, it's a passion. It's not sometimes I look at students and I think they're there for a degree rather than sharing the passion for the subject. It's I'm sure you know what I mean. But anyway, so yeah.
All right. I think we can start now. Members are on. Hi everyone. Thank you all for joining us today. As our flyer was saying, we are hosting Peter Jones, who is the president and founder of Andalucia Bird Society. And Peter has been involved in various steering committees developing sustainable tourism in Spain and other countries. He has been involved in animal studies and research projects in Spain and overseas. He's currently developing a natural history education projects for schools in Morocco and Spain as well. And current projects also include coordinating efforts to engage schools in Spain and Morocco to participate in the Osprey Migration Foundation project to link both children and communities through satellite tracking of migrating osprey. So he's also currently commissioning to develop a comparative field guide to similar and confusing bird species in Europe. Yes, so obviously we are in good hands today evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Careful.
Yes, so we have to learn a lot, but before we give Peter the floor, I would like to say a few things about the Avian Conservation Uganda Society. The Avian Conservation Uganda Society is a non-profit membership-based organization that is dedicated to conserving birds in Uganda. We do this through mainly raising awareness about the need for bird conservation to the general public. We also mitigate bird habitat loss and encourage restoration of bird habitat. Number 3, we also participate in research and monitoring about birds of Uganda in order to further the studies about birds. As we all know, birds of Uganda suffer from data deficiency. We don't know a lot. There are birds that we we really don't know about, for example, their breeding habits, some of the, especially like forest birds. And the only way we can do this is if studies about birds of Uganda and basically ornithology studies are furthered in the country. And as I mentioned before, this is a challenge because we don't have a dedicated course in the country about ornithology. So we only rely on students' passion for this. So we have to encourage more students to take part in studies. Yes, so this webinar is going to be in the form of, we're going to have basically two sessions, where one session for our speaker's presentation and another session which will be a discussion where members will be allowed to ask any questions or to contribute to the conversation in any way that they can. Yes, so because I don't want us to use a lot of your precious time, let's go straight into it. And yeah, we can Peter, you can have the floor, please.
First of all, a very warm welcome to everybody. And I have to say that after meeting Godfrey in the flesh when he came here to Andalucia, it was exciting to hear about the prospect of an association developing in Uganda. And so congratulations to you all for being actually founding members of the society. I mean, you're all there at the very beginning. So congratulations and long may your success continue. And I hope you get lots more members. Well, basically my lecture, if you like, or talk to you is in two parts, because first of all, I want to explain to what is conservation, because it involves so many aspects and so many things, not just birds, and but involves natural resources and things. And then in the second part, I want to go through what we're doing as a society here in Andalucia and how that may possibly relate to you and maybe inspire you or give you ideas as to what you may be doing in a similar situation, because Uganda and Andalucia is the largest part of Spain. It's a big area. And so there can be similarities. We've got lots of different habitats. And so hopefully in the second part, you can interrupt me when we're discussing various projects to ask me questions if you want. And I'll be delighted to answer you and see if what we're doing can be of use to you. That's my wife opening the door. 52 years. She deserves a medal. 52 years as being my wife. That's horrible. Not for her, not for me. No. Thank God. I can't cook. Okay, well, listen, you know, what is conservation? Well, conservation is similar to preservation, but it relates to the protection of nature, and it strives to accomplish in different ways. Conservation seeks the sustainable use of nature by humans. That may surprise you to know, but that's the definition of conservation. And it's for such activities as logging, mining, while protecting nature from human use. Conservation is basically a careful maintenance and upkeep of natural resources to prevent those resources from disappearing. Of course, a natural resource is a physical supply of something that exists in nature. I mean, such as soil, water, air, plants, animals, and energy. And conservation is also a study of the loss of Earth's biological diversity. I use that term, by the way, rather than biodiversity. I always think biological diversity is a much better phrase, and I've got a pet hate when it comes to that word biodiversity, but anyway, you might not all share that hate. And it's a variety of life. Biological diversity is a variety of life, either in a particular place or on the entire planet Earth, and including in its ecosystems, species, populations, genus. So conservation seeks to protect life variety at all levels of biological organization. So for instance, species extinction is the most obvious aspect of loss of biological diversity.